Hey, it's Shub. Welcome back to the Medic Side Hustles podcast. If you've been following along, you'll know that we've had some incredible guests so far on the podcast, clinicians building brilliant things beyond the traditional career path. And if you got the last one, you'll know that I'm doing a few of these episodes solo. This is one of those solo episodes. Just you and me going over some of the key frameworks I use with my coaching clients and inside the Clinician Impact Actionship. Think of this as your weekly dose of strategic thinking to help you make medicine your side hustle. No fluff, just practical tools to help you take your next step. By the way, season 1 of this podcast is already fully booked, so you'll be getting new episodes weekly until June. And yes, I'm already building the list for season 2. If there's someone you think would be a great guest, or if you'd like to put yourself forward, or sponsor me perhaps, then drop me a message on LinkedIn. You can also reach me through my website, which is www.coachwithshub.com. If you're enjoying these episodes, now is probably the perfect time to share the podcast with a colleague or friend who's thinking bigger than their job plan. All right, let's get into today's topic. I want to talk about something I call career equity. This concept came to me from years of working with clinicians who were technically excellent but still stuck. They'd done the training, they'd picked up all the right badges, they were doing extra QI, teaching, innovation, audits, you name it. But despite all of that, they still felt like they didn't have leverage. No traction, no real control over what came next. And what I realized is they were earning income, but they weren't building equity. You see, most of us were trained to think in terms of salary, titles, and tick boxes. The NHS in particular teaches us how to follow structure. In fact, it makes you replaceable. If you're not careful, your entire career becomes reactive. Your value defined by how much work you can do, how many shifts you can take, and how many boxes you can tick. That certificate, does it really matter? This model doesn't scale. And more importantly, it doesn't give you options. Career equity is what gives you options. It's the invisible asset that grows with you, not because of you. It works when you're asleep, it attracts opportunities, it puts you in the room without you having to knock. So, if you want to stop trading all your time for income and instead start building long-term value, this episode is for you. Let me explain what I mean. I break career equity down into 3 types: authority, network, and value. So, authority equity is all about being seen as a trusted expert in a specific space. Network equity is about the quality, depth, and influence of your relationships. While value equity is your ability to turn your work, ideas, or assets into meaningful return, whether that's income, freedom, or impact that you can negotiate with. How do you get all these forms of equity? Well, equity needs capital. Underneath those 3 types of equity are 5 key career capital that I share in my Actionship program. And I'm going to be sharing them with you today. So, the first one I've got is reputation capital. This is how people talk about you. I've got a video up on YouTube about reputationality. Go have a look at that if you're more interested in building reputation capital. Content and IP capital. These are the ideas, frameworks, or tools you've created. Every time you come up with a problem, whether at work or for a particular project, you actually research quite a lot of things. And whether you know it or not, you bring it together into a framework that you use to solve that problem. You can do more with that. Convert it into content and something that belongs to you. The next type is network capital. This is quite simple. It's who you know, but also who knows you, and links very well into the reputation capital for the question of what do they know you for. The next one is negotiation capital. This is your ability to extract fair value from what you do. And often within the NHS, we struggle to negotiate for anything financial, yet we overlook all of the non-financial benefits that we could negotiate for, whether it's particular study leave, whether it's being able to go to a course that may not entirely be within your compulsory courses list, or perhaps a little bit of extra time to work on that project to see it through for another 3 months. Which one can you do? The last form of capital is impact capital. This is the visible results of your work, how the system changed, how people were helped, and how things actually improved. Document this. Use this to negotiate, use this to create content, use this to build a reputation, use this for everything else. It's your proof, it's your milestone, it's the stake you put in the ground, your impact capital. Each of these is a lever. And the more you work them intentionally, the more your career becomes something you own, not just something you follow. And I know, like you, I used to find the word leverage quite dirty. However, putting it aside allows somebody else to use it against you. Right, let's do a quick pause. If you're listening and thinking, I have some of this, but I've never pulled it together into a strategy, then come join us at the Clinician Impact Actionship. Applications are open till the 10th of April. It's a 6-week program where we help you build the foundations of a non-clinical career that still aligns with your values, your time, and your goals. It's not just about jumping onto another treadmill of a different career. We go deep on career equity, positioning, leverage, and real-world action, not fluff. It's built for clinicians who want more influence, more income, and more freedom without walking away from their clinical identity. Check it out on www.coachwithshub.com/action. Now, let's talk about how to actually start building equity. You don't need to quit your job to start doing this. You can build equity right from where you are right now. Here's where I'd begin. 1. Choose one type of equity to build first. Is it authority, network, or value? Just pick one to focus on for the next 90 days. Step 2. Tie it to a real-world problem. What frustrates you? What could be better? Solve something that matters. Step 3. Build something visible. Write it, share it, teach it, present it. Don't let your best work stay hidden in your inbox. Step 4. Pay attention to who pays attention. That's your signal. That's your niche speaking back to you. Make a connection with them. Step 5. Keep track of what grows without you. If someone else shares it, uses it, refers to it, that's equity. That's your effort compounding. So, which of these 5 steps do you already do, and which one do you need to do next? A few things that trip people up here are the following. So, we often mistake effort for equity. Equity is value that grows without your constant input. It's not just doing more, it's more being done without you. You know those QI projects that kind of die the moment you leave the hospital and nobody else cares about it? Well, there's a different way to building equity such that it sticks and get known for it. The other mistake we often can make is trying to build everything all at once. Focus one lane at a time for the next 90 days. What you also don't want to do is assume that you need a business to build assets. You don't. You can build frameworks, influence, visibility inside of your clinical work. You just need to show it and really share your work. It's not about bragging. It's about being generous. It's about helping other people to fulfill the same mission that you're on, to solve the same problems that you're solving, and they will love you for it. All right. I hope this got your wheels turning. You're probably already building some form of equity without realizing it. The question is, are you doing it intentionally? Because when you are, you stop living shift to shift. You start building something that lives beyond your rota. If you ever want to ask me questions about this, find me on LinkedIn. If you found this episode helpful, I'd love for you to hit the follow button and share it with a colleague. And if you want help putting it into action, come join the Clinician Impact Actionship. We'd love to have you in the next cohort. Until next time, keep showing with clarity, intention, and make an impact. See ya.